All right, man. How you doing?
Good, brother. Good to see you. Thanks for having me here.
It's an honor and a pleasure.
Yeah.
So, as a mate, I want to know what experiences in your life led you to become a men's coach. I'm curious.
Well, firstly, thanks for having me here. It's great to be a part of this podcast and just want to acknowledge that. My journey really started probably about 6 years ago. Prior to that, I think there was a whole life experience of absolutely going haywire. And what I mean, haywire, I'll unpack that as growing up in a family that was completely dysregulated. It was chaotic. There was no emotional support. There was no masculinity around. And all those conscious beliefs and patterning that were programmed into me, I was completely unaware. And I was in autopilot mode pretty much up until my 40s.
Yeah,
And
wow. To
yeah,
your 40s. That's
yeah,
huge.
definitely. Yeah. Yeah. And then I lost everything. I lost my family, collapsed. And in that time, was living by myself, and that was when the big self-reflection began.
Yeah,
And what was
that's
going?
massive.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah, look, a lot
Mm,
of guys go through it, and
yeah,
I was another victim to the circumstances, and not all men
mm,
have to go through that process, and can be, you know, I so many safety nets that I wasn't unaware of, but the awareness wasn't out there. Growing up in the late 70s, 80s, and 90s,
mm.
and by then the conditioning is already programmed in, and you're into your life.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
massive to get to the age of 40 and where maybe everybody would presume, or maybe the natural course of life is like that's where you've got everything together. But in that point, that's where you didn't have anything. You lost it
Well,
all. That's
it's a
huge.
good point that you make. It's like, yeah, I had the house, I had the family, had the job, earning good money, and it was all good. But inside me was completely just like a
Yeah.
empty egg. I was
Hmm.
just a shell.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the moment, for me, it was like, fuck, where am I at? I can't
Hmm.
blame anyone else now. It's something's wrong with me.
Yeah.
And for a man to stop and reflect on himself is the huge moment.
Yeah, certainly. And what
Yeah.
did you notice were the core things that you were going to within that reflection? What were the parts of you had to check in with? I'm curious.
Well, I'm going to back a bit.
Yeah.
Before I even start looking at those, I started reading books. My first
Mm.
book I read was Nicole LePera. She's a
Oh,
holistic
yeah.
psychologist,
She's
and
awesome.
it was doing the work on yourself, or whatever it is. It's a great book.
Yeah.
And I was working the cranes down in Melbourne, and every smoker, every lunch on the train, I was reading this book. And this is what I was having at the moment, reading through that, going, fuck, that's me. Oh, that's me. Oh, that's me. It's the first time in your life you go, shit.
That's where you started to see the reflection. I really get what you said there. To
Yeah.
actually get access to the mirror, you had to start investing in exploring stuff like personal development, these books, these videos that open up, hey, who am I? What am I doing right now?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
How am I going?
Yeah. It was like, it's the moment when you take responsibility for yourself. But even
Yeah.
then, you're still running on an old identity. And then you're like looking at it going, fuck, I'm completely programmed in a way that I wasn't even aware of.
Yeah.
And now I've got to redo the wire. So I like to use the analogy like, you say when we're born, we're like a laptop, yeah?
Mm,
The laptop, we've got a screen. So that's our sensors. And inside there, we've got a CPU, which is your brain, and then you've got the RAM, which is like the body, yeah?
mm,
So when we're born, yeah, we're born perfect. But I
mm,
grew up in a family, yeah, where way I processed through my CPU and the way I
mm,
downloaded into my body, my RAM. like I was getting viruses left, right, and center.
Yeah.
And
I've
body
heard
was,
some people describe it like if you're a disc, it's like you're getting a scratch on the disc.
yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing about that
Or the
is
record.
if it's just a program that's been installed into you, you can take that program out and put a new one in.
Damn right. Exactly right. We can get virus scanners and like those NordVPNs, those Nord protection.
Yeah, well, when it comes to like doing men's inner work, and a lot of men don't
Yeah,
want to go a little bit too deep on it because it gets to touches sensitive parts of them.
it is.
But that's what you need to do.
So
There's
in
no
that, I'm curious, what came up when you're reading Nicole LePera and you're reading this? What was that revealing to you? I'm curious.
First, it was the realization what she was saying that actually that related to me. That was the first time my life went, that sounds like me. And when you get one, you're like, oh yeah. But then you read a couple more and you're like, fuck, that's me again. That's me again. And you're like, holy fuck. I had a pretty fucked up childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
And
starts revealing the layers that have been unseen for such a long time.
yeah. And, there was no support there. But after losing everything, and losing all your friends, all your money, your family, your house, and everything, and you're at rock bottom, it's that time you went, I need to rebuild.
Yeah.
And that's the and have a hard look at yourself and do that inner work.
I
And
think that's
that
a
was
definition of what I've seen people say is all I've got is now. In
yeah,
moments
but
like that,
but those
oh
those
yeah.
years from like before I was a teenager up into the 40s, drugs and alcohol were a big factor in my life.
Hmm.
And I reflect on that now. They were just coping mechanisms for the pain that I was feeling inside me, and I didn't have that awareness around me. And a lot of guys go through that. It
Yeah.
happens to this
I
moment.
just think it's just because. But when you get
Oh,
exposed to this literature, you see there's
mm,
deeper reasons why I was going to that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And another big factor, that was just one part of it. The other
Hmm.
part was I lost my father when I was three. Like he
Hmm.
took his own life.
Hmm.
So I didn't really have that masculine figure out. And the one that was there, he was abusive. And I'm not blaming
Hmm.
them. It was them.
You're
I,
sharing your
I'll,
experience. Yeah.
yeah, I'll articulate it a little bit more because a lot of people think a lot of men grow up in families and women, and and I lost my brother a few years ago.
Hmm.
So this is all due to generational curse and enmeshment within
Hmm.
families. And I was going down that same funnel,
Hmm.
and then I went no more.
Hmm.
I lost everything. It's time to fix me.
Hmm.
And the beautiful part is, and I know like that's what got me into men's coaching. And a lot of coaches say you don't need to know a lot about you don't need to have the trauma. But I think it's essential. And I
Hmm.
like to look at like I've always said when I was younger, if you wanted to be a psychologist and someone was sitting on the edge and they wanted to jump off, yeah, or take their own life, you got to go and sit on the edge with them.
Hmm.
Yeah, because it's all about feelings.
Hmm.
And to get them be on the edge and be there and to experience it, if you'll experience it as a coach and you know what it's like, so you can sit there with them.
Yeah.
Just yeah, I've done the 40 years of
No,
it.
it bloody matters. Could I share something that came up, which I think is so
Sure.
important to add there?
Hmm.
Because I remember one of my first clients that I worked with, I got the call sitting on the edge. And I went there and I sat on the edge with them. And they're still here today. Like this was, wow, this was 9 years ago. The first time I got one of those calls, and I've had a few more. And I remember sitting on that edge, getting in the mud with them and and reconnecting with why they're here today. And that was huge. And I'm so grateful for you to mention what you just said, because that's the level of support we need to bring to our people and to our friends and our family, that we will get on the edge with them. And it just when I look at where she was, this was a
Mm.
woman, and where she is now, I'm so proud of her. And I'm so grateful that I got into this space to be able to do stuff like that, because like as experts in the field, we're going to get that phone call. That phone call's coming. And that's exactly what we need to be able to do, is get on the edge
Oh,
with them.
oh, definitely. And like
Mm.
a lot of guys don't know that they're on the edge. Like statistically,
Yeah.
just read another book. It's called Iron. Sorry,
Iron John?
no, not Iron John. That's great too. So, but it's uh, I don't want to talk about it,
Yeah.
and I forget the author, but in there, statistically, 80%. So as I said earlier, the book was about I don't want to talk about by Terence Real. So I found the
Mm.
author, and in there was quite confronting. Like a lot of men, statistically, have 80% covert depression.
Mm.
So even though they're successful businessmen,
Covert depression.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's a silent killer.
Mm.
So they look like they're doing well, but inside there's a shell of them that they haven't discovered. And you may seem like they're doing well in life. They've got everything going. They've got it. They've got the family, the trophy wife. Everything's good, but there's always that part that they just can't handle.
Yeah. Because I was going
It's
to ask you the question, why are so many men struggling internally while appearing strong and successful externally? Would you say a big part of that is that covert depression?
yeah, well, great question. Let's look the contrast to that. Look at women. They're awesome. Yeah.
Mm.
When it comes to emotions,
Mm.
and when women get together, they're awesome. They go, "Oh, how you going, Cheryl? Yeah, I'm great. I'm having a bad day." Yeah,
They're
and they get
checking
together
in.
and they check in with each other. Guys, naught.
Mm.
So imagine a little child growing up, doesn't have the support by the father or the mother. Yeah, and they get emotional. What do? Push it down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as they grow up, they try to be stoic. And stoicism's like, yeah, I'm doing really cool. Yeah, nothing affects me. I'm doing well in life. But that's all bounded into the depression part of men.
Mm.
And this is where men getting together and expressing how to be emotionally intelligent and emotionally, what's the word? Emotion capacity. That's it.
Yeah.
Have the emotion.
Emotional capacity. You're so
Yeah,
right. And we
yeah.
need to,
And
because
a lot
if
of men
our
don't have the emotion.
range, it's our range as well, our ability to go there and
Yeah.
feel what's within.
And that's where women are good. They got a more of a capacity, so they can handle it, whereas men don't have the capacity. So when they
Yeah.
try to get with the feminine, they break down in families. And it's
Yeah.
not no one's fault.
It's the conditioning
It's
playing
the
out.
conditioning behind it. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And so they're struggling because they've got all this external stuff, but their emotional capacity is never being stretched and never being expressed. And so therefore, it's this kind of like tower that's
Yeah,
about to crumble of all this unexpressed emotion.
yeah, definitely. And their nervous system's not can't regulate in particular circumstances.
Hmm. There's all these coping mechanisms built
Oh,
up.
it's just piled on top of each other.
Yeah. And there's a moment where it can break, and that's where men can check out.
Yeah, definitely. And they check out, and
Hmm.
it usually happens when they get into their 40s or 50s. And I was a statistic to that. And I'm
Hmm.
happy to own that. And that's part of being a man now, like owning your stuff. I think that's huge.
Yeah.
You can put your hand up and go, hey, this is what's happened to me,
Hmm.
and this is what I'm doing about it. And taking the responsibility and accountability to fix you first so you can be present with others.
And I love that so much, because I've recognized as a culture, there is a change. It still exists where it's like boys don't cry. That culture is still there, that energy. But there is a shift that's happening where being emotionally intelligent and being emotionally expressive is becoming a strength and recognized as a strength. It's definitely not all over the world, but there's certainly a movement where that is shifting towards a strength, and that matters so much, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. Well, when a man expands their emotional capacity,
Mm,
then they have the ability to be present with a woman who's very emotional, not to take those
yes.
emotions on and be present
Mm.
with it.
Not be
And
in overwhelm about it because you have the
yeah, well,
range to be able to hold space for it.
one of
Yeah.
the big constraints around women is that they want to feel safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Regardless of what stature they have, they just want to feel safe. And if a
Mm,
man doesn't create that safety and they still carry that boy inside them, where the woman will come to them and they're all emotional, they're going to react. Yeah. And then they don't feel safe. And a lot of guys go through that
and it's
because
not only just physical, it's emotionally.
it's energetic as well.
Yeah.
It's the energy. So if you have the capacity to hold their energy,
Mm,
because you've done the inner work with yourself, then your relationships, you know, increase. They're on the,
yeah. That
it's a,
matters so much. It's not just being able to fight for them, it's being able to hold space for them.
yeah, and it's also a
Mm,
cascade, like if you can hold the energy of the feminine as a masculine and you've got children around and they can see that, then children then learn how to deal with conflict, where the
mm,
man sees it like, hey, dad held that really well. Fuck.
yeah.
And that happens over a period of time. That man grows up to have emotional capacity as well.
Yeah, and be able to hold space. They're learning how to hold space, and then vice versa as well with kids. He can
Mm.
also hold space for his children and not just be like, "Oh, you can't be this way." It's, "Hey, what's within is welcome."
Yeah, definitely. Just getting
Mm,
back to what you said, where boys don't cry. That
mm,
was one of the big things that happened with me growing up.
mm,
And my mother used to say to me, "What are you crying for?" When I was a
mm,
little kid. So you're like, "Oh, I won't cry anymore," or you start creating adaptations and behavioral patterns not to express your emotions,
mm,
and then that's the start of it. And that's not to blame my mum. I don't blame her because she would have grown up in an environment. She's only known what she knew.
mm.
And that's the generational curse and the enmeshment within that family.
I get you, but
Yeah.
how that unplayed is like that emotion wasn't welcome in the space, and so many different people experience versions of that where it's how I'm feeling right now, it's not welcome, and so that's where the masking kicks in. That's where
Yeah.
the numbing kicks in.
Yeah. And then that becomes your program, or like I used the analogy before, that becomes a virus inside you.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
that coping mechanism at the time when you're a little kid served a purpose, which became part of your identity,
Mm.
and it made you survive in that situation. Great, thumbs up. But that becomes part of you. Then you
Yeah.
go into your as you grow older and as an adult, then you go into relationship and you've got that programming.
Yeah. And that
So
and that virus can create mental illness. And I remember so many people have a perspective on mental illness. And if you break down the word illness, it's you can be healed for an illness. If you have a physical illness, it's we can heal that. And I think there's similar experiences with mental illness too. And that's why coaches matter so much to help people heal from so many different things. And the I really like being able to know that. And I think a lot of people need to take on that perspective that we can heal these viruses, we can heal this mental illness and get you to a state where it's no longer impacting you how it is and how it has.
oh, definitely. And we can like a lot of online coaches, male coaches, and they're doing identity. And I've noticed, at the present, what I've done my own research, look for that gap when you want to react. That's the
Yeah.
area, and a lot of guys, go do some breath work, bring
Yeah.
yourself down, or when the trigger comes up, do this so you can
It's a
be more present.
strategy.
That's a strategy. Yeah, that works. But what I
Yeah.
like to do is go, okay, we found the gap, that regulation, breathing, and so you can come back and be present. That's great, cool. But the trigger's still there.
Yeah. The wound.
The wound's still there.
Yeah.
It's where I like to go, let's have a look at the wound.
Mm,
Because if the wound is healed, it's not going to treat it's you're never going to lose. It's going to be a part of you, but it's always
mm.
going to be there. But it's not going to you're not going to get triggered anymore.
It's going to be sealed over with a scar.
Correct. And
Yeah.
that's how you do it, forget it.
Mm,
Whereas now you don't need to rely on breath work anymore.
yeah. You
Yeah.
can
And
actually
there's
go to the core wound.
yeah, and there's a lot of biohacking today. Like people go, oh yeah, I'll go to this breathwork place and do all the stuff. Yeah, that's great. I reckon that's cool to regulate the nervous system.
Mm.
Fantastic. Gone
It's a
from
skill, you could say.
yeah, it definitely is a skill, and it's you go from sympathetic nervous system to parasympathetic. Just regulate. That's cool, but still,
Mm,
that doesn't fix the subconscious part of the brain. Where
yeah.
where I use the example. What are you crying for? Which my mum said. Words are like
Mm,
fucking swords. Yeah, yeah. They can inflict a lot of damage.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's where. But
Uh,
also, words
You
are
could
really
breathe
powerful.
through moments like that and get yourself to cry. But if we don't go back there and really do the healing that's required around that event, we're going to be
Mm.
doing a lot of breath work.
Yeah, 100%. And you're going to rely on that, and you're never going to heal from it.
Yeah.
Whereas words are also
Still playing.
they're the lock and the key. That's what I like to use.
Mm.
So yeah, so you
Explain
might
more about that. The lock
uh
and the key.
once you've created a subconscious pattern
Mm.
to which becomes adaptation and then creates a behavior, and that behavior creates the trigger or who you are as a man. Those words can you have to use words to re-engineer out
Mm.
of it. So I think Joe Dispenza is really good at using whatever your theta brainwave is
Mm.
huge. Get back into that sort of brainwave pattern, revisit the moment, express the emotion that went through,
Mm.
reprogram the mind, and then future pace it that doesn't happen again, and you
Yeah.
can move on from that. And that's the beautiful part.
That's the lock and the key. I see you. It
Yeah,
takes really going back there, unlocking the experience there, and then changing it completely.
yeah, definitely.
Mm.
And that doesn't mean you're out of jail.
Yeah, I understand.
I'd like to really make that really clear that,
Yeah.
yeah, you might do a little bit of healing, but doesn't, you might do in particular, like parts work is incredible for particular, and that therapy is
Yeah.
incredible by
There's a
Richard
lot of
Smith.
parts that need support and healing, not
Yeah,
just one. It's not a light switch.
yeah, but even there's also parts of us and there's strategies that we've created that we need to recreate. And you need to keep reinforcing. Once you've created that new pathway via neuroplasticity, that needs to be kept getting mowed. I like to use the analogy. It's like a lawnmower. Once you've created that new path, you've got to keep going back, remowing that path. And
It's
then
similar to the conditioning.
it's conditioning.
You've been playing out the same tape. We've got to
Yeah.
create a new story. We've got to create a
Well, it's like
new
this. You've
program.
got a pathway there. You've cut the pathway off and you've created a new one. But that new one will always want to. Your brain's so intelligent that it'll always look for the place of least resistance. So it'll always want to
Yeah.
back to and so you've got to keep the
Mm,
upkeep on it. And once you've created that new pathway in your mind
mm.
and that wound's not there, then you can move on from it.
Yeah, very powerful stuff. And
Yeah.
there was a place you entered earlier in
Mm.
conversation around, and I think we explored it around what it's been like of what masculinity has traditionally been and maybe what it's evolving to be, like the shifts, the changes. I want to ask you, what does healthy masculinity look like? I'm curious.
Healthy masculinity is the ability to use masculine qualities.
Mm,
And I'll say such as strength, courage, discipline,
mm,
responsibility, and
yeah,
leadership.
nice.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And those core
But it's in the
elements
ways
matter
that
so
benefit
much.
yourself and others rather than causing harm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's big.
Yeah.
Say that again.
So the qualities are strength, courage, discipline, responsibility, and leadership
Yeah.
in ways that benefit yourself and others rather than causing harm.
Yeah. And that's a big one, that sentence there.
Yeah,
Things that are supporting yourself and others.
yeah. So I'll even expand on that, and I'm just thinking about it now. Masculinity isn't the problem. The problem is when masculinity becomes disconnected from the emotional awareness, which I was getting to earlier. Strength without wisdom becomes control.
Hmm.
Confidence without humility becomes arrogance.
Hmm. Have you got it on the wall there?
Nah, no, I've written it. What's the other one? Discipline without compassion becomes punishment. And healthy masculinity, what was it again? Integrates both strength and emotional maturity.
I love that you're looking up to connect with that, connect with your brain. And so,
Yeah,
so true. And I
yeah,
really think that paints a great contrast frame for healthy and unhealthy masculinity. And
mm,
there's been a massive movement in the world, particularly around like the manosphere that has been really bringing in these contrasting views to masculinity.
mm,
And on one hand, I love it because I think it's so important that more and more people and more men are looking into what it means to be a man and checking in there. And then it also can contribute to problems like and anything can. And so it's very, very important. I want to ask you the question, what are the most common unconscious patterns holding men back? Because we talked about the subconscious, the unconscious a bit. What do you notice are the patterns that are most common within men holding them back?
the most common patterns, they're always trying to prove their worth.
Hmm.
So they,
Yeah, it's a
if
big
I
one.
if I if I do this, I'll be accepted. Yeah. If I build this empire or I build this project, I'll be accepted. I think that's one of the biggest ones. Another pattern,
Hmm.
I don't know if it's a pattern. I just don't think men have the capacity,
Hmm.
emotional capacity.
That was a big one we talked about.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
just don't have the skills there.
So therefore, so if they don't have the capacity, the practice can be something like numbing or avoidance or masking that is contributing to that lack of capacity, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
What would you say are the most common ways men tend to numb and avoid their
Oh,
emotional?
pick your choice, like, you want alcohol, drugs, sex,
Yeah.
gambling.
Porn.
Well, I'll just put that under one banner, but yeah.
Yeah, I
Uh,
guess it could be under sex. Yeah.
yeah, and even going to the gym.
Yep.
I find that today is huge.
Mm,
They go work out to look good, to have the great body, to be accepted. But what are you
mm.
really doing it for?
Yeah.
Yeah,
There can be an unhealthy addiction to
yeah,
the gym. Yeah.
definitely. But the main ones, especially here in Australia, alcohol's like widely accepted in the rest of the world. It's like, you go down the road and it's not illegal to go and buy alcohol, but the damage it does to men and families is like next level. But
Yeah. That's where the illegal things kick in. And you could say it's the step one of that process. It's huge.
yeah, well, I don't drink anymore. I I
Mm,
I was consuming alcohol for quite a few. When was the last time I had a drink? 2 years ago, I haven't had a sip of alcohol.
mm.
Yeah.
And like particularly in Australia, the culture around binge drinking, it's it's like if you're not drinking 5 drinks in 20 minutes, what's going on?
Well, it's not even that. You're not coming to the pub. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, listen to those words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And that's the
the
conditioning that,
shame.
yeah, it's shame.
Yeah.
De-
The shame around not doing that act.
Yeah.
Yeah. Happens
Yeah.
so
And also
often.
the environment that's in too. That creates the identity of a lot of people being in that, like I'm all for people having a great time,
Yeah.
but do you need alcohol to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you need to consume ridiculous amounts of it as well. On top of that, I'm also okay with people enjoying alcohol, but there's a line between enjoying it and just absolutely abusing it.
Well, how many times have you been out drinking and you've gone out with a friend and you go, their whole persona changes within that time. They either become who they really are, or they start telling how they really feel, or they turn into someone else,
Mm. Or they disappear
or they
when they're blacked
disappear.
out drunk.
Yeah, and that's all to do with the pain they have and the
Yeah,
suffering that they endure. So
yeah,
the outlet is their choice of drug, which is alcohol.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and
the
that so
unresourceful breath work, the beer work.
yeah. Well, you think it's like cool. I'm going to hang out with all the guys, but you're just enduring your pain and suffering.
Yeah,
Yeah,
avoiding the day you just had.
yeah, definitely.
Hmm.
Yeah, just
And
drown
that,
your sorrows, and that's where listen to that statement. Drown your sorrows.
yeah, it's
That's where
so
it comes from.
commonly used. It's even used in endearment. Let's go drown our sorrows. Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And words are
yeah,
like fuck. They're like swords.
yeah,
They can be very powerful. You be
they
careful what you say.
contribute massively to
Mm,
keeping people caught in those patterns. And it's a massive thing in Australia, just the commonality of drinking. And I'm so, like, I remember my dad and I having a conversation once, and he said, the thing that brought me the only joy in my day was snapping a stubby. And I remember when he said that to me, that was so confronting to hear. And then he's gone on a journey now, and I'm so proud for him that he's done massive, like years without alcohol, and now been very reserved with it. And it's so important. But there's so many men that are just still caught at the pub, caught hanging out for beers, and constantly playing out those patterns of avoiding their emotions and that
mm.
capacity. Oh, never getting
Yeah, but
stretched.
what happens then? It just cascades. You go from alcohol because it's culturalized here in Australia,
Mm,
and then you're like, all right, let's get on next one. And next thing they're on the drugs. There's
yeah,
amphetamines, there's cocaine. Yeah.
yeah.
And then it's a more of a slippery slide. You go down there, and what it does to your brain there, and the chemistry behind that. It depends how long you're on it for. That can just
Mm.
it ruins families.
Completely shifts who you are.
Oh, look, I was on cocaine for good 5 years.
Mm,
I was smashing through it, and then had no awareness of what it was doing to me,
mm.
and I had no awareness why I was doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And I'm just curious, was this whilst you had your family? This was before
yeah,
everything?
yeah, yeah. Like
Yeah,
when the construction industry here in Australia is just next level.
yeah,
It's like widely accepted. It's like, oh, let's go down to the pub for a beer. Hey, we finished work. Let's get a bag.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
just,
It just
it was just,
happens.
it just happens.
And even sometimes to function, I've talked to men that say the first thing they do when they wake up, it's not coffee, it's Coke.
Yeah,
It's
it's like,
huge.
yeah, and it becomes expensive.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's not sort of a lifestyle that I like to live anymore.
Yeah, and there's so many men and
Mm.
women as well. It's a massive problem that to function, to get through the day, to get over the day, that's what they go to, drugs and alcohol, and it's huge. And I'm curious, like what happens in a family when addiction's part of it? What starts to unfold? I'm
Oh,
curious.
well, I've had first hand of that. So
Yeah.
my stepfather was like, he was a complete alcoholic.
Mm,
So when they come home, there was abuse. Yeah. And, you know, the fights that I saw with my mother was next level. So that creates fear. You
mm,
know, you isolate, you shut down,
mm,
uh, but also at the same time, you're seeing that there's a part of them people that they you just watch them drink and they're having a good time, and then it turns nasty. So that you start to download, hey, it must be cool to drink. So even though what events play later on, because you get scared from what's happened to you,
Yeah.
you come up and you don't know why you're acting like the way you are, and you're like, oh, I remember having a mum and my stepdad were drinking. They felt good at that time. I'll try that, and it does. It relieves the suffering,
Mm.
and then use
Mm.
it again.
It just becomes a vicious cycle for
Oh,
everyone involved, even children.
yeah. Oh, it's next level. Like I like to go back. It's been going on for like hundreds of years for men
Yeah.
too. Like this is a long generational condition. Like look at all the wars we've been through.
Mm.
Men coming back from war, PST, PS, PTSD.
PTSD. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, what do? They can't talk about it. They result to alcohol. Bang. My
Yeah.
grandfather, I never met him, but he was like that when he come home. And then you can see the conditioning would have happened around my mother.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
For
you know,
both sides.
yeah, and now we're at a stage where there's a lot of awareness around men's health.
Mm.
And we have more understanding of what those particular recreational drugs do to us and the
Mm.
events that play in our life. The nucleus of the family's been broken down slowly over, the last 50 to 100 years.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's so interesting, particularly with PTSD and war veterans, that's come out around, I think it's ibogaine. It's this amazing psychedelic drug that has now been made legal in the US and has like over a 90% success rate with helping men overcome PTSD and overcome alcoholism, particularly veterans. And it's incredible. And so there's other things that are out there that can cause such a greater support, which goes to healing the wound rather than just numbing and band-aiding the effect
Yeah. Well,
of the wound.
I hear what you say with these prescription drugs, and they do give you a bit of relief, but that still doesn't change the subconscious mind.
Yeah. Well, this ibogaine, this is a 2-day kind of healing session, and they do the healing and do the work on this
Yeah.
psychedelic. And then men,
Yeah.
there's reports that they don't want to do any more, drink any more alcohol, do any more drugs, and they don't feel this weight of depression. It's
Yeah.
incredible. It really
Yeah. That's
is.
the reprogramming of the mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you don't need any like pharmaceuticals.
No, you don't need to
Yeah.
be hooked to anything besides being present in your life and
Mm.
being the man you want to be.
Yeah, definitely.
It's awesome. It's really awesome. And that's why work that you're offering as well is just the same. It's actually creating the life and creating the man you want to be. And it matters so much.
Yeah.
And
I,
mm,
I find it like with a lot of men and a lot of men's coaches, until you do work on that inner child,
mm,
until that little boy's been healed, you're going to keep playing the same patterns.
yeah, yeah,
It will keep reappearing. That
yeah,
that's the most important part,
yeah.
and that's all subconscious programming.
Yeah, I think it was Tony Robbins who said, heal the boy and watch the man appear.
Yeah, definitely. And
Yeah,
that's
I
the work
love
that I've
that.
done with myself over the last few years.
Yeah, that's
Like,
super important.
my mum emotionally neglected me. So when it comes to expressing my emotions and being present, I
Mm,
couldn't I couldn't sustain that.
yeah,
But
it's
the
what you
therapy,
learned. So you did it to yourself.
well, yeah. And then when I
Mm,
was in relationships, that was going good, and then it'd break down. You'd wonder why, and you
yeah.
didn't know it was the conditioning, the patterning that you've already been installed into.
Yeah, there's the
So
perfect chemistry to replay the same events.
yeah, yeah. Well, I love Peter Crone's work. I'm a big advocate of that.
Mm,
Like you meet people and circumstances in life to show you where you're not free. So
mm,
these people that I met in my life were coming in, and they were starting conflict, and I'd get triggered, unaware that they were triggering me, trying to help me,
mm.
which I think is a gift now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really understand that. And
Yeah.
it's it's our duty as adults to be conscious of that and
Mm.
find those areas of why is this, why am I getting angry here? Why is this not okay for me?
Yeah.
Could this
Oh,
be any different?
yeah. Well, I'll share a story. The other day, I was in the car coming home with my girlfriend, and she triggered me,
Mm,
and I stopped and I paused. Obviously there's that gap, and I looked at her and I said, "Look, I'm not shutting down. I just want to let you know you triggered me right now."
mm,
And
nice.
she's like,
Healthy
"Cool,
communication.
yeah, yeah." I go, "It's not your responsibility. It's mine." I said, "I'd just like to thank you right now for triggering me."
How
Now that's a
often
hot.
does
Now
that
that's a
happen?
that's now when does that happen?
Yeah,
When you
that's
get to
excellent.
that's when you get to that line, that's beautiful. Like I
Yeah,
said, thanks for triggering me. Now I've got something to work on within
yeah.
myself.
Writing that down in the book. All
Yeah,
right, that
yeah,
came up for me.
yeah,
Oh,
cool.
there's such, there could have been so many other ways that could have been handled. Like, you're triggering me. Fuck you.
Yeah, definitely. I said, "You're triggering me. Thank you."
I love that. I
Yeah,
don't know. I think it's another Tony quote. It's hard to get angry when you're grateful.
yeah. And it's cool because I had a coach because I'm living on the Gold Coast, and I caught up with Lewis Huckstep, awesome coach.
Mm,
And I did he does a lot of stuff, spiral dynamics, in the way, especially it's John DeMartini's work, and I think it's
mm,
profound as
mm.
well. It's a different style of healing as well.
Incredible.
And he does this balancing process, which is really cool. So my trigger, which I'm happy to talk about, was I didn't feel like I was good enough.
Mm,
Yeah. And I went, "Oh, where did that come from?" So that was my work to go through that balancing process and feel where I'm not good enough. And there's an event in time or a place when it happened and where I felt that I wasn't good, and probably as a child.
mm.
And you start from that, and then
Goes
through these
all the way
processes,
back.
there's all these steps. And as you go through deeper in the balancing process, it becomes very emotional.
Mm,
That's the release of energy.
yeah.
And there's a whole end of it being grateful for what you learnt and the traits that you learned in that process to become who you are.
Yeah, it's like following the neural pathway of this event, this moment, why it's being triggered, and going all the way back through it all, then coming all the way back. It's once you have the awareness, you're able to access that. It's so incredible.
Yeah. Oh, look, if you can get to the point where you go, "I like triggers,"
Yeah, they're my spiritual teachers.
they are, they're definitely your spiritual teachers. And
Yeah.
that's like how we talk about shadow work.
Mm,
That's the hidden parts of us that haven't been resolved.
yeah.
So
And
when
it's so
you hear the
important
word
to
shadow work, it gets thrown around, pretty loosely,
mm,
but that's the parts of us that haven't healed.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's so important. And I'm really curious, man. I want to know if men are hearing this right now and they
Mhm.
wanted to work with you, I'm curious, like what are the services that you offer?
At the moment, I just do one-on-one coaching and I
Mm.
do workshops as well.
Yep.
At the present moment, I'm designing my program, which is
Hell
cool.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is all
Really,
based
really
around
cool.
your identity.
Mm.
So a lot of which will also go into emotional intelligence regulations, and then we'll go into leadership after that as well.
Yeah, it's so important, particularly around identity. I think
Yeah,
identity is also how we lead ourselves. So they're very closely connected. And then as we've unpacked from today, how important it is for a man to have emotional intelligence and be able to regulate themselves. It's deeply important. And so no, stay tuned. I'm gonna put a link for your website down below. And so if you're
yep,
watching this maybe 6 months from now, maybe that online program's ready. Definitely go be a part of that. And definitely check out Aaron and all his different services as well. I think it's really, really important. So check out it's bellatorcoaching.com.
that's correct. Yep,
Yeah, nice.
yep.
Incredible.
Or you can go on Instagram as well, Bellator Coach.
Yeah, hell yeah. I'll link
Yep.
that down below as well.
Yeah,
And
sweet.
so I wanna leave you with this wonderful question. What would you say directly to the man listening right now who knows something needs to change, but keeps putting it off.
The longer you wait, the less you're denying yourself a beautiful life that's ahead of you.
Yeah,
Because on the other
that's
side, there's
important.
freedom.
Yeah, yeah, you're postponing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's big.
Yeah.
So,
Look,
yeah,
I'd love to go back and do this stuff when I'm 20. So if there's a 20-year-old guy listening right now, thinking, fuck, you've got an opportunity right now to have
yeah.
you might have had a shit childhood growing up, but now's a great chance to rectify that.
Yeah, just
Don't
like
wait.
you when you're listening to reading Nicole saying, "Hey, that's me." If you felt that today, you felt like, "Hey, that's me." Definitely go down below right now. Click on
Yeah.
Aaron's link and
Mm,
check out all the different services he's got there. And
mm.
yeah, get the support you need because you don't need to live life this way. It doesn't need to be this chaotic mess.
No, definitely not. And
Yeah.
like put another touch on it. You can do the internal work with yourself, but being around other brothers
Mm.
is really important.
Yeah.
The women love getting together, but the guys don't. And that's an opportunity, men learning from men and rebuilding and restructuring within internally in themselves
Mm.
is the best environment to be in to change
Yeah.
your identity.
Yeah. And we experienced it together and we've been around other guys and truly expressing ourselves. It matters so much. And the parts of you that actually get to come and play and be taken care of in that brotherhood experience matters deeply. And so also I know you've got that Bellator Inner Circle, so definitely check out that as well and get access to that
Yeah.
space where men are.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And connecting doesn't matter where, it doesn't have to be Australia, it can be worldwide. Connecting
Damn
once
right.
a week. Connecting on a Monday. What's been going on in your world? Yeah. What have you got set up for this week for you to succeed?
Yeah.
And then at the end of the week, accountability.
Yeah. Damn right.
Yeah.
It's so
Well,
important to
yeah.
say it. Thank you for today. We've smashed
Uh,
it. We've had such an awesome conversation, and I trust this is adding so much value to the people listening to this right now.
yeah, it's a pleasure to be in. Thanks, Harry, for having me.
You're welcome, man. You're so
See you, brother.
welcome.